Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. Mark Twain. I keep this line close to the fire because it turns the mirror on all of us. If youth is a flame, what feeds it? Grades, praise, or something smaller, steadier, the courage to stay a beginner? Here by the fire, let's follow one idea through 5 seasons of life and ask, how do you keep the flame young? Twain knew something about reinvention. Humorist, journalist, riverboat pilot, he failed publicly and started over often. He watched the Mississippi change course and learned to read it anew. That's the psychology of youthfulness. Not smooth skin, but flexible mind. Modern research calls it a growth mindset, treating ability as trainable. Twain simply called it staying young. So we'll trace how this plays out, child to elder, using a few voices that carried torches of their own. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Dr. Seuss. Picture a small backpack, a too big map, and a mountain that looks like a crayon scribble. A child decides to climb because wonder is still louder than doubt. Therefore, the first steps are joyful: rock, leaf, cloud, question. Then the path narrows. A scraped knee, a word that won't sound out, a puzzle that won't fit. Tears, a pause. An adult kneels, not to carry the child up, but to name the ache and point to the next hold. Try one more way. The child breathes, tries. The rock gives, a tiny summit. In that moment, the brain wires for courage. The flame learns it can survive wind. One child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world. Malala Yousafzai. The mountain grows steeper because the teen sees valleys, systems, injustices, doors labeled not for you. They choose a cause, a club, a canvas, a classroom. Therefore passion surges, identity takes shape. But passion meets power, rules, suspicion. The first petition stalls, the first speech shakes. Enter the quiet allies, a teacher who lends a book, a friend who shares a pen, a parent who asks a real question and waits for the answer. The team discovers a counterintuitive route. Change isn't just volume, it's persistence. Youthful heat becomes directional. Ink on paper, facts in order, courage in public. The youth is the hope of our future. Jose Rizal. New terrain, jobs, bills, relationships. The mountain now demands logistics. Hope feels heavier when rent is due. Therefore, the young adult hustles, side gigs, night classes, bold applications. But the old enemy returns, self-doubt in professional clothing. Who am I to try that? Here the flame needs oxygen from peers who are building too. Shared kitchens, shared drafts, shared rejections. A mentor doesn't hand over the summit photo, they hand over a compass. The young adult learns the difference between speed and direction. Hope matures, from someday to this week's staircase, one honest step at a time. Young people need models, not critics. John Wooden. Now our climber can look back and see a path. The temptation is to lecture from the ledge. Therefore advice multiplies, meetings fill, red pens rise. But critics don't kindle many fires. A shift. Trade the megaphone for a mirror. Model how to apologize without collapsing. How to ask for help without shrinking. How to keep learning when learning is awkward again. Bring a younger colleague to the meeting and let them lead. Name your own mistakes first. The mountain becomes communal. Ropes, knots, belay checks. Teaching turns into seeing. That fire over there is not mine to control, only to shelter. We cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. Franklin D. Roosevelt. The elder knows storms you can't predict. Therefore, they stop promising clear skies and start stocking base camps, libraries, scholarships, apprenticeships, time. But the harder task is interior, letting go of outcomes while holding fast to people. They pass along origin stories of resilience, the failed harvest that taught neighbors to share, the factory closing that taught retraining, the quiet afternoons where a grandchild learns to repair, not replace. The elder shows how to age without closing, the rarest skill. Eyes bright, questions sharp, flame kept on purpose. Age does not make us childish, as some say. It only finds us true children. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Maybe youth is not a stage but a stance, to remain a true child of wonder, precise, sincere, relentless in curiosity. Twain lit the match. Seuss handed us a map. Malala, Rizal, Wooden and Roosevelt showed the trail. Before you leave the fire, ask yourself, what is one small thing I will learn this week that scares me just enough to grow? Leave it below. One book, one class, one conversation. Then pass the flame to someone who needs it. If this helped, subscribe and come back to the fire.